11 days after my husband died, his mother stood in my kitchen and said, "I'm taking the house, the firm, all of it, just not the girl." She meant my 4-year-old daughter. 3 months later, I signed everything over with a straight face. Everyone thought I'd gone into shock. They only realized what I'd done after she'd already taken the bait. My husband built a small injury law firm, and his mother never stopped acting like she owned it because she'd loaned him startup money years earlier. She treated me the same way. Temporary, replaceable, beneath her. Looking back, she made one stupid assumption. She thought quiet meant helpless. While I was still trying to explain death to my daughter, my mother-in-law filed a will contest and a creditor claim. Then she marched into his office, demanded revenue reports, and announced she was taking over. She saw the income and ignored everything else. A week later, my brother-in-law showed up to move in because, in his words, "Mom says it's basically ours now." He brought duffel bags, a PlayStation, and barbecue chips. I had the police remove him from my porch. Everyone told me to fight. I almost did. Then one night I went to my husband's office and found an envelope in his desk with my name on it. That was the moment everything changed. Months before he died, he'd found out he had a serious heart condition and quietly planned for the worst. He moved what mattered outside the estate: life insurance, retirement accounts, all payable directly to me. Then I found the other thing he'd left me: the real numbers. The firm looked successful from the outside. It was drowning underneath: huge debts, unpaid payroll taxes, a malpractice payout, a brutal office lease. Even the house was basically worthless once you counted the mortgage and the home equity loan. I sat there doing the math and kept wondering, was she really this greedy or just this stupid? Turns out I didn't need to choose. The next morning I told my lawyer, offer her everything in the estate: the house, the firm, the accounts. I only want full custody of my daughter and no visitation. My lawyer read the documents and laughed. My mother-in-law's attorney got nervous right away. He asked for time to audit the books. He warned her in writing not to accept the deal until he reviewed everything. She signed a waiver and ignored him because she thought I was finally folding. By the time the signing date came, the insurance money had already hit my private account. I'd moved my daughter and the important things into a small apartment. For the first time since the funeral, I could breathe. The conference room smelled like stale coffee. My mother-in-law walked in dressed like she was collecting an award. My brother-in-law wore a new blazer with the price tag still tucked inside the collar. My lawyer made one last statement for the record. The opposing party confirms she accepts all disclosed liabilities. Her attorney said yes. I signed first. Then she grabbed the pen. Then she signed without looking up. Then she pushed the papers back with a smile. Then my brother-in-law smirked like he'd inherited a throne. Then I stood up and left. 8 minutes, that was all it took. 3 weeks later, reality kicked her in the teeth. The IRS notice came first. Then the malpractice demand. Then the landlord wanted a personal guarantee on the office lease. Then an accountant opened the books and found a mountain of unpaid invoices. That's when she learned the difference between revenue and profit. And that's when I understood my husband's last line: "Don't let her take what matters. She can have the rest." She tried to undo the settlement. She couldn't. Every debt had been disclosed. Nothing had been hidden. I hadn't lied once. I had simply refused to hand her information about assets that were never part of the estate. Then the best part happened. My brother-in-law, the same idiot who'd measured my guest room like he was picking one out, ended up fighting his own mother over papers he'd signed at the firm. Watching them turn on each other felt less like revenge and more like gravity finally doing its job. The last time she called me, she was crying for real. She said she was losing everything. She said she needed help. I let her finish. Then I said, "You stood in my kitchen and told me you wanted everything except my daughter. You wanted the house, the firm, every dollar. I gave you exactly what you asked for." Then I hung up. That night, my daughter was gluing macaroni onto paper because she decided a horse needed a noodle mane. I sat at our little table and filled out an application for a paralegal program. I could afford the tuition. I could afford our life. On my nightstand was my husband's letter and a